Eric Namai is a creative. Eric Namai is a child journalist, a young trained child journalist. Eric Namai is a young boy who has aspirations of being a radio presenter one day. How I ended up working with children, I'd say, well, I had this friend of mine, is called Omar Ahmed, and he introduced me to this organization called Mtoto News, Mtoto News International. I am here today courtesy of Mtoto News.
Yeah, my name is Brian King. I am 18 years old. I am a child journalist at Mtoto News International. I am also a very passionate climate justice and climate action advocate. But yeah, I ended up working with children because I was a child when we started, and well, I grew into the role basically. Figured out that there's so many issues, actually, that every issue concerns a child one way or another, and they can all be debunked or broken down. Or, I mean, if you look at the big picture, it's climate change,
Yeah.
like every single issue can be related to climate change. So we decided that it's a focus area that we need to work on, and since then we started, and here we are now.
Climate justice. We'll talk even about justice itself. Like when people do crimes against other people, they steal, they hurt people. Uh, Unfortunately, they kill people. Uh, the people whose families are involved in that are supposed to get justice, right? So that's how I view it. When people commit crimes against climate deserves justice. Okay, that means each and every person who is responsible for making for giving children or giving young people or giving everyone not giving them access to a clean environment or a clean climatic condition place environment should be I feel like they should be arrested first of all. Like there should be a law that makes sure you're arrested. Like come on, we're supposed to be going towards 2030 where we're working towards having a sustainable tree cover in Africa, right? But apparently a lot of people are cutting down trees and not even considering that trees are a major source to reducing the effects of climate change, right? People are polluting the water. People are not even preserving light or any water, or they just they are littering everywhere. They are banning plastic. These are crimes against climate.
We can talk about justice in terms of climate justice, in terms of how adults are taking care of the planet for their kids. When you're talking about climate justice, it's all about fairness. Like, how fair is it when you do something that is going to affect your children, when they have no at all, like they don't have no say, they cannot do, well, they can do something, but it's not that much, you understand, right? Like, adults have a role in protecting the children. Here in Kenya, for example, our governments, our teachers, our parents, and just any adult owes a duty of care to all children of Kenya to protect the environment, because this environment is the one that the kids are going to use. And children contribute the least again to climate change, but they also suffer the most, which also comes back to the topic of climate justice.
Yeah, I agree that adults have a responsibility because the same way a parent has a responsibility to their child, they have to take care of their child. They have to make sure they're well dressed, they're well fed, they go to school, they get education. That's the same way a parent should be responsible for an adult should be responsible for climate change, right? For making sure that children are in a very clean environment and all that. But children also have a responsibility. I believe haki means justice. When you talk about in Mtoto News, when you talk about children's rights, right? You tell them that you have rights. You have right to life. You have right to education. You have right to play. You have right to all of that, right? But you also have a responsibility that comes with that right. Okay, if you have a right to play, uh, yes, you can play during the morning hours, the evening hours, right? But can you play from morning up until night, right? You also have to take care of yourself, right? You also have to have a sense of accountability to yourself. How can I be accountable to the things that I do, right? That can complement my rights, and I be responsible towards them. We usually go home with me, Brian, and another boy, the boy I mentioned called Omar, and along the way,
Shout out to Omar.
yeah, big up, shout out. So, and along the way, we probably buy smocha or anything that has plastic wrapping. When these guys throw these papers around, I literally tell them to go and pick them up. Okay, and not just me, it's become a habit that they tell me to pick it up. You know, when a lot of people will say that when I throw a paper out, it doesn't really affect what change does it make, but it does make a change, right? And if you're not responsible for that, it won't make the situation any easier. It won't make the situation easier for us, right? It's like a piece of a puzzle, right? And the puzzle is the entire world, right? There's people in America, there's people in Africa, there's people in Asia. If you do your part of the puzzle, then it's way easier, and we are almost in finishing the puzzle than if you don't, right? And doing your part of the puzzle is planting trees, conserving light, what else? Conserving your water, you know, making sure you don't burn plastic or don't overuse the things that you're not supposed to do. That's supposed to make sure that you have a sustainable environment.